Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us today with AEW All Elite Wrestling for the Full Gear pay-per-view of the November event. This is going to give us a good 6 weeks to build towards our December event. Still to be named, but I want to kind of make that like a Starrcade kind of feel an end of the year spectacular show. So hopefully what we've built towards can be a good event here and can lead us on to hopefully a very good 2021. As always, the pay-per-view will be broadcast on Bleacher Report Live, Fight TV and in demand. And in terms of where we're located the show, we are going to be in the Citizens Bank Park, which is in the tri-state region. So we should be expecting roughly just under 43,000 fans. I'd imagine about 2,000 or 3,000 under with the way TW has that. So, as always, before we start, thank you very much for watching the video, taking time out of your day. If you want to get social, you know what to do. And if you want to buy the game, the link's in the description below, along with links to all the mods in the TWDB website and, of course, the Grey Dog software forums. Also check out Fantasy Bookers on Reddit. A lot of very good written and digital content on there as well. So without further ado, let's crack on to AEW Full Gear. So we start the show with a hype package, the vignette showcasing tonight's main event, the one-off opportunity for Cody to become AEW World Champion as he challenges Jon Moxley for the belt. The vignette package just highlights how they've been on the same page, but could one of them go towards dastardly actions in order to come out of tonight as champion? Both guys benefit from a groundswell of public support and a solid 81 opening segment. Next up, we had the Dark Order, or one member of the Dark Order alongside a reluctant member. But it was about they had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Darby Allin and Brody Lee defeated Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy Private Party in 12-11 when Darby Allin pinned Isaiah Cassidy with a coffin drop. A very solid 73 performance for this matchup, which is a good opener. Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, low 60s, Brody Lee 73 and an 84 from Darby Allin. So again, probably similar to the time of recording how the Colt Cabana angle was going with Brody Lee, but yeah, they're giving Darby all the victories. So a good opening start there. We then have a promo with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and MJF is just basically saying, another pay-per-view, another show unblocked off the card. What does Cody and the Elite's vendetta against me? You know, why is this constantly happening? Why are my talents not being utilised? So a 74 rated promo there. Could there be more from Max later on in the show? Maybe. Next up, in a bout that had some good heat and decent wrestling, in tribute and in honour to Chris Jericho, with Sammy Guevara defeat Matt Hardy in 10:02 with the 6:30. This was a 63 rated matchup, a 50 for Matt and a 66 from Sammy Guevara as he picks up the win. After the matchup, if it wants to load for me, there we go. Le Champion, with somehow no picture, which I'll need to edit. Weird why he doesn't have a picture here, but Chris Jericho is finally back from his, what you could say is a depression from his loss previously. These constant bizarre promos, but Jericho comes back and he just beats the hell out of Matt Hardy, and that gets a 60 rated segment, so Sammy Guevara will be delighted with that. Next up, the AEW TNT Championship was on the line, and this was in a mayhem matchup, as you can see here, because you have to fit one on every show. In a decent matchup, Lance Archer defeated the very game Jungle Boy in 11:37 with a blackout. A fourth defence of the AEW TNT Championship for Archer. A solid 50 rating, obviously going to be hampered by the overbooked nature of the matchup. Good work at ringside from both Jake Roberts and the Luchasaurus, but Lance Archer's dominance of the TNT division continues. And after the matchup, him and Jake Roberts, with Jake getting a new catchphrase, just completely by rating the company, the roster, the fans and just saying there's nobody in Lance Archer's league. He's never lost, and long may that continue. Next up, Best Friends. Probably would have been better doing it in a different order, but Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy hyping up for this big 5-on-5 matchup, as in this one they relate to the team of the Titans, Fatu, Brian Cage, and of course their manager Camille. And that was a 52 rated promo by them. We all know the story. Chuck Taylor knocked down, they tried to knock down Orange Cassidy. The man was Jacob Fatu, didn't come along, he had Camille, and then they also had the machine Brian Cage kicking around as well. The match itself was a very solid 77, and it was a good matchup that saw the Death Triangle packing the Lucha Brothers, Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr., and the Titans defeat Orange Cassidy, the Young Bucks and Best Friends in 1738, when Brian Cage got the victory over Chuck Taylor with a pump handle facebuster. So a very good matchup there, a very good showcase for the heel side. Hopefully can get Cage and Fatu over. Quite an interesting amount of performances there, ranging from an 84 of Nick Jackson to 53 of Chuck Taylor. Cassidy with a good 69. Might push him like AEW has pushed him, but overall, class there. And Brian Cage getting better his gimmick, of course. Him and Camille are still awkward, but we will drift them apart eventually, but when the time is right. But then moved on to our Women's Championship match, and that was with good heat and decent wrestling. Nikki Storm defeats Toni Storm in 11:52 with the perfect storm. There's so many storms there, as Nikki Storm makes the third defence of the Women's Championship. Both ladies are getting good in-ring performances. Unfortunately, Toni Storm has that pretty vocal issue, but that's cool. There's stats that she doesn't have which put her in for that, so that's up to us to try and make her wrestling at least cover up for that. But 61 is still good for the women's division. She's probably at Nikki's level, and it's just a case of getting a few others over. Because it has two baby faces, despite it being a loosely, as I say, use of heel face combinations, so we don't really need to enforce it too much. So you probably lose a couple of points for that, a couple of points to negative crowd reaction. So I'd imagine this would have been about a 65 or a 66 on a regular occasion. Next up, Kenny Omega cuts his promo on Hangman Page. He says, "This is it. This is the one where I get my revenge on Hangman for his dastardly actions." And that was an 82 rated promo from Kenny. And the match itself gets a hype package, which was 61. And they battled brutally in the cage. And in a superb matchup with a lot of time given to them, because I imagine that's something AEW would do IRL. And it was Kenny Omega who defeats Hangman Page in a cage match in 39:58 by pinfall with a one-winged angel. So a 79 continues their feud a little bit, but I feel like it's something that these two could properly do in terms of, you know, elevating Hangman. And I feel like when they do eventually split IRL, they may have split already before this video airs, but if not, then it could lead to a massive match which could establish getting both guys over. We then have Jon Moxley's promo on Cody, and that's in 81. He just says, "Fair play, you've got yourself this opportunity. I'm quite happy to give you it, but rest assured, just because this is your one and only opportunity doesn't mean I'm going to take it lightly on you. I'm going to make sure I'm still standing as AEW World Champion. So I'm hoping this can knock it out the park. Remains to be seen." 80. Could have been a bit better. But anyway, an exceptional matchup. And we saw Jon Moxley defeat Cody in 30 minutes and 6 with a Death Rider. During the matchup, we had MJF run in and attack Cody. So the 7th title defence of Jon Moxley, he keeps the belt on him. An 80's okay, 91 from Moxley, 71 from Cody, so still quite a good wee bit to go in terms of getting him to where we'd quite like him to be. But there's no point in taking the title off Moxley, and it means, thanks to MJF, Cody still remains, never becoming AEW World Champion. He's also penalised for low morale because of the Brandy Rhodes affair. Because it's both baby faces, take a few points off as well. and Excalibur's announcing, so I'd imagine it's probably about an 83, 84 rated matchup. But overall, the show itself was an 80, and that did increase our popularity in 56 regions. It shows we've got a fairly strong card with the amount of green ratings there, are darker greens, but or brighter greens I should say, I don't know if I said darker, but I'm happy with that. And yeah, it just puts us in a position where I think we're on a good run. We're slowly making strides, and it gives us 6 weeks to build up to quite possibly the best wrestling card ever. Not quite. Anyway, Averno is set to leave AAA. He's 42, so he's too old to be considered for here. We have an extension rumour for Luster the Legend for Impact Wrestling. Full Gear really struck gold with the show. Jake Roberts' catchphrase is good, 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 so that's going to benefit him and Lance Archer. And we also had NXT War Games. As the way KTB is, in this particular one we started it, the NXT and AEW were quite eating good tendencies, so bear that in mind. And that had a main event of Cameron Grimes, who defeated Pete Dunne and Damian Priest to retain the North American Championship. So, news items. So, drug test is 6,000. 857 people viewed the show. 1,000 people viewed the show. A 1.40 buy rate. And just confirmation, Christopher Daniels has retired from in-ring competition. He'll strictly be a colour commentator, a manager, or a road agent. So SCU is already down to 2 wrestlers. And the house show was in New England the other day. Size-wise, good position. Just keep going the way we're going. And heading towards big. A long way off, as I say, any higher than that because of our popularity elsewhere. But it's all about financially bankrolling the company, making sure we're solidly in profit, and then we can maybe look at one point of getting a network and expanding more globally. But that's it for just now. As I say, we'll go ahead and make our way towards Dynamite on Wednesday. And the good thing is, with it being planned to be the pay-per-views the last week of the year, it'll be 3 episodes of Double Dynamites before we head off to whichever that event may be called. So thanks for watching, much appreciated. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you soon for some more TEW2020 content. Bye bye.